Hello, hello, hello. Hi, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Hope everybody's doing great. Welcome to another Daily 5 Live, where I'll be doing the prompt of the day. The prompt of the day is Rose Dew. Rose Dew. Make sure that I don't have the back here. There we go. I want to say hi to Kate, BB Hess, and Rebecca. They're already on YouTube. Hi guys, how you guys doing? And a good evening to you too, Rebecca. Today Rose Dew. I have for the people on Instagram. That's gonna be my mood board of the day. I'm doing great, Sanjit. How you doing? This is going to be on my mood board. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I wanted to do something gooey because I thought I could transform Rose Dew, which usually dew is water, to something gooey instead, and have the pink color in it. Could be interesting. I'll see what I can do. In the meantime, let me be sure I see everything. Sanjit, I asked you a question on Tribe. I hope the message is the right place. Yeah, I saw it. I'll be answering it in the Tribe today later to help you as much as I can. Hi, Art by Citron. Good to catch you live. Yeah, good to have you live with me. Thanks. Just going to make sure I'm seeing the chat. There we go. I want to say hi to Anita on YouTube. How you doing? My first live ever joined. Happy to be here. Happy to have you here, Ryan. It's great to have you here. All right, let's get started. Reminder to everyone, if you want to paint with me, you're welcome to do so. If you want to watch, great. If you have questions, shoot them up. I'll do my best to keep my eyes on both chat while I paint. So I want to do something kind of like, again, kind of like collage style, experimental. I want to start first with kind of a portrait and then get it started from there. I have a serious doubt. You said you are in China now. Are you able to use Instagram? I'm in Thailand. I'm not in China. I'm in Thailand. And Art by C20, so you're going to sketch with me. That's great. Awesome. Be sure to post your work then after in the Tribe. You can even tag my name. I'll go check it out afterwards. All right. So I need to decide on the portrait I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do her. Kind of like for people on Instagram. I think I'm going to do her right here as it gets started. The way I approach these is kind of photo collages, like I was saying. I like to kind of transform a study into like a piece of art, essentially. So I'm going to try to do that with her today. I've been having a lot of fun yesterday doing a paint over on the work of, I think her name is Clara, if I remember correctly. If you're here, Clara, thank you so much for letting me work on your portrait. It was super fun. If you guys want to see how I transformed it, it's my last post on Instagram. It was a paint over, and I give a few tips on how I approach it to kind of fix it, improve it, should I say. It's no fixing, it's just improved. So yeah, Genio, you say hey, same to you, Genio. Hi from Colombia. My Spanish is not great either, so thank you for the translation. I don't speak English, but I still learn a lot from watching the lives. So thanks for greeting from Colombia. You're absolutely welcome. You're absolutely welcome, and thank you for joining. My Spanish is going to improve within the next year plus, as I'm trying to move to Spain for next year. but I'm still having a hard time understanding everything. But my wife is Colombian. I don't know if you knew that. My wife is Colombian, and therefore my son. But he's 1, so he doesn't speak Spanish yet. He speaks more Italian than Spanish right now, which is a little bit of a worry that we have, but I think it's going to be fine. Kids can learn like a bunch of languages at the same time. So yeah, let's push this. Let's do this illustration together while listening to jazz. And I'm sorry for everyone that's been joining me for the past few weeks. I haven't changed the playlist. I'm using Epidemic Sound, and I'm quite picky with the sounds that I like to listen to when I'm painting. And I usually listen to a lot of Latin music, but if I put any of the songs I listen to, YouTube is going to claim the rights of all my videos, so I'm using Epidemic Sound to make sure I can, if I want to later on, monetize the channel, because although it's monetized, these lives are never monetized. I don't want people to have an ad in the middle of like watching me live and having a discussion. It kind of makes no sense to me, so I never monetize them. That's a beautiful playlist. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. You know, I'm a huge fan of jazz too. I think it suits all moods. It's kind of like happy. It reminds me of Christmas, to be honest. And so usually after the holiday, I take a little break of jazz. Not just for me, but also for my wife that doesn't like jazz as much as I do. And she's kind of sick of it after the holidays. But it still suits my mood most of the time. All right. So remember, finish is better than perfect when you're doing the daily 5 prompt. The goal of the challenge is not to overdo, overblend, over-render. The goal is to get yourself started without having to stress too much about it. Cool Caleb, random question. What program are you using to stream here on Instagram? I'm using OBS, and there's a plugin that I do not remember the name. I'm sorry, that's probably the information you want, but I don't have it. It's not showing. It's called a vertical plugin for OBS. And what I do is I put the stream key into that vertical plugin directly into OBS, and allows me to have a vertical format to be able to stream on OBS and on YouTube at the same time, because we are on YouTube at the same time. If you want to see the reference pictures, come join us on YouTube. You'll be able to see my entire screen. It might be easier for some to follow. Final Rem. Hi, posting on art on Instagram for a while now, and I don't seem to grow. I don't know if I'm lacking skill or something else. Any tips? Thank you. Yeah, well, do I experience any lag? Cool Caleb. No, I don't experience any lag. But I got a very powerful machine. I'll get into the specific of the machine. Let me answer you, Final. When it comes to Instagram, like, growing is hard on social media these days, you know. It's really about obsessing about consistency and learning from what works and what doesn't for you, for your audience. You know, my content doesn't reach like millions. It doesn't even reach most of the times hundreds of thousands, which would be my goal. But if there's a thing that I can tell you is no matter what you're posting, what you have to do is to be consistent and learn from what you put. So, for example, I realized that the things that really blew up for me and I get more views on are usually tutorials. And unfortunately, I do very little of that. So I got to learn from my lessons and kind of do more tutorials. It's not about the quality of your art. So let me put that right there for everyone. If you don't grow on social, it's not because your art is not good. It's because you haven't mastered social media. Social media by itself is an art. And you need to learn it before you can master it. And there's classes you can take. If you're on budget, I would join Skillshare. That's like $15 a month. And you can have some people giving you like tips and clues on how to deal with social media, how to make it more efficient and all of that. But ultimately, the problem is we're all artists and we want to spend most of our time drawing and painting, and that's where we want to learn stuff and get better. I'm assuming, at least that's my case. But truthfully, if you want to promote yourself as an artist or as a business or as whatever, you need to learn how to do it. There's real skills involved. It requires to understand human psychology. It's the art of convincing, the art of selling, really. And that's something that, man, I wish I had learned earlier in my life. It was quite a journey. When I started Paintable, I was against selling. It's just funny. And I had a business partner at the time, and he had to like force me into a role of selling. And it was forcing at the time, but today I'm very glad that he pushed me in that direction, because it opened a whole new world of possibility, not only as an artist, but just as an individual, like to gain more success in life. Selling doesn't have to be slazy and dirty and ugly and trying to steal off people, which was what I was thinking. Selling, it's about understanding the needs of someone and offering them the solution if you have it. Period. Now, if you're an illustrator, that means selling illustration skills. And yeah, there's an art to this. Anyhow, I'm not gonna lecture you guys on the art of selling, but that's probably one of the reasons. What do you say when someone refers to a digital piece as a painting? Well, it is painting. There's painting the actual paint, and then there's painting the action of, and digital painting refers to the action of, just not paint. So to me, they're both paintings. Let me catch you guys on YouTube. Rika, you say, depending on what I need to draw will dictate the yes, that's music. Yeah, definitely. Music definitely changed my mood on when I'm painting. The plugin is ATM Vertical. Thank you, Rika, for, I don't remember who asked that, but yeah, so you can come to YouTube. That's written ATM, AITUM Vertical. Ryan, you say, I was in the middle of studying pomegranate with colored pencil. Pomegranate, okay, with colored pencil. When I got to the live notification, perfect timing. That's great. I'm hoping that you're able to continue your painting with me. What is the difference between being a concept artist versus being an illustrator? That's a great question. Let me take a second and I'll answer that. Olga Bag. Is it useful to make sketches from the nature in digital art somewhere in the bar, Market Street? Yeah, if you have an iPad, go for this. It's about the experience too. Some people like to be surrounded by all these action stuff. I tried it personally myself. I like to be in my studio most of the time, but if you're the kind of person that likes to go sketch in a cafe, that's a great experience. Go for it. No matter if you sketch, like, you'll learn something. So it changes the environment in which you are doing it. Luca Romani, if I want some vibes, texture, like oil painting or similar, what brush you advise me? Texture brush. You know, there's a ton there. Do a quick search, you'll find plenty of them. It's not about the brushes though. It's about what you do with the brushes. So you might have to experiment with them. There's you can have the same oil technique with all sorts of brushes. At the end of the day, it's just the layering of the colors and the way you would build the image from pale to dark. That stays. The brush is just to add texture on it. Art by Citron. I'm at the airport currently painting on my iPad. That's great. You see, great example there. Maybe you like sketching people on the way to the plane. That's cool. Crazy D, your question was, what's the difference between being a concept artist and versus an illustrator? So, concept art refers to someone that will literally do concepts. So, such as for a movie, for example, where they're coming with an idea and they're like, oh, we need like that crazy monster and in that particular scene. The concept artist will come and take what's needed in terms of information, like what kind of monster, like is it a swamp monster? Is it I don't know, I'm not gonna start naming all the monsters that you could paint, but like what kind of monster, and then he's gonna go to work and do research about it. But even, you know, a better example, it's like weapons and cars and all these things that goes in the movie, and they need to fit, let's say, a steampunk movie or like a, I don't know, 90s style movie or whatever era. It's the research that goes behind it and the concept that will match ultimately the vision of the project itself. So it's really related to usually a big project, a big movie, a video game, these kind of things usually. Where an illustrator, it's everything else really. You need a cover for a book. You need an illustration for a product. A box of spaghetti. You're not going to go see a concept artist for this. You're going to go see an illustrator. You're going to see their style. And so these projects will be based on the portfolio of the artist itself. The client will go see this artist because they're going to say, oh, you know what? Your style fits the product that I'm trying to sell. You know, like there's really cool brands. Beers is a great example of this. You know, illustrators are doing beer design. The really cool style of these like crafted beers, those illustration. They come with an idea, a concept, but it's really based on the portfolio style of the artist and the kind of vibe it gives and if it fits the product at the end of the day. So book covers, posters, all sorts of products, food products, t-shirts, you name it. That's all illustration. And you could argue that a concept artist does illustration, but they're doing it in a context of concept art. Hopefully this answered the question. I'll try to continue answering if you need more explanation. Yeah, so that's the answer to that. Let me try to push a little bit more this gal here. So what I'm trying to do is just to establish like a little bit of a sketch. And I'm gonna kind of add stuff to it, create kind of a collage montage of as an illustration, and then I'll add color to it. I've been doing that for the past few weeks and really kind of love approaching it like this. So like it's kind of like it's a sketch and then I'm adding another sketch to it and then I stack sketches, and I have no idea what I'm going to go with this. I'm kind of creating like I'm approaching this as a challenge and as a personal study research. I don't try to have a final product that fits a specific vision. Like I want to put like a box of I want to put a bird house. Why? I don't know. Is it going to look cool? I don't know. We'll see. But instead of like trying to just do a portrait, I'm just kind of pushing things, and what I've been observing for the past few weeks is it really helps me with pushing my style, because I'm doing things that I wouldn't have thought I like, kind of thing. If that makes sense. Did I put on his own layer? I should have. And I really encourage everyone to try to do this with the Daily 5. You can do it many ways. You can just do like one illustration from one reference pictures. You can do it from imagination, or you can do what I'm doing, which is kind of like a collages of small and big illustration, and you kind of let it become its own thing. Like, I know I want to put a Polaroid as well in there, just because I think it's a cool vintage item to add to the composition. Crazy D, you say the explanation was good. Awesome. If you have more questions, please let me know. So yeah, Rebecca, you were saying that you were hoping that everyone was warm earlier in the chat. Is it cold where you are? Because I guess it's winter in a huge part of the world. I mean, it's winter here in Thailand as well. It's just winter for us is a mild 15 degrees at night and like 29 during the day. Not really wintry when you think about it. I wanted to see if I can add a Polaroid. I got a Polaroid right here. Sanjit, question. Do you like traditional art? If so, traditional art, would you like to which traditional art would you like to study and why? Mine is Japanese. Japanese sounds fun. But yeah, you know what? I did some Christmas cards over the holidays as an activity with the family, and I kind of loved using markers. Now, I don't know if it's a particular style like Hugh Japanese, but I kind of just fell in love back with the medium of having markers and creating this small illustration. I'm also following an artist online. I did like it wasn't a contest. It was like a holiday show, an art show. And it was, I think next was okay actually. It was an art show for like a bunch of artists that provided like one postcard. And I just thought the postcard format is just so cool. It's a small illustration. You can do some cool things. It has like a mix of like graphic design with illustration, and I just thought, you know what, once I move into Europe, I think I'm gonna buy myself a big set of markers and experiment with it a little. Kate, you say it's summer over here where I am. I'm in the south of Australia. Yeah, yeah, I guess so. It would. Well, half of the planet is summer, half of the planet is winter usually. And yes, you're in Kentucky. We woke up this morning at -13. That's cold. That's cold. Lots of winter storm coming through, dumping snow in the frozen rain. You know what? Snow is fine. I think snow is great actually, if you have it for like a week, and then it becomes just so tough. You know, I lived almost 30 years. No, I lived 31 years in Canada, in Montreal. That's where I'm from and born. And one of the reasons why I left is exactly that. I was done with the winter. Just couldn't do it no more. Yeah. Snow every day is just too much to bear for me. Over a big period of time. Am I putting a rose there? I might. What's the news that I have for you guys? I think I already announced that last week, but Illustration for Imagination is coming back. It's going to come back in March. So if you were interested in participating last year, I'm going to open the doors again and close them again, as I usually do. And if you want to make sure to not miss the date, especially if you're on Instagram right now, I set up an automation where you can get a cheat sheet that gives you a few tips on how to paint from imagination. But what it really does is it's also adding you to the waiting list. So you'll receive a short email that tells you when we are launching the program again this year. If you're putting in the chat right now, IFI list, that's IFI list, it should start up an automation and send you a DM with the instruction on how to do so. If you are on YouTube, you can go check out the Illustration for Imagination registration page, which, let me put that in the chat. It's paintable.cc/IFI-registration, right? Registration, I think. Hopefully I can't see properly. I need to go see a doctor for my eyes. I feel like I'm having a harder time seeing from far away small stuff. Anyhow, if you go check that out, you'll be able to register. Some tips for cleanup sketch. I usually do my sketches in 3 phases, so you'll be able to see exactly how I do this with this one. And I'm going to try to not spend forever on it, because otherwise this illustration will take forever. But I'm almost there. I'm just trying to create a concept for some reason. This could be like a morning kind of sunshine of some sort. But yeah, I'll show you that in a second, I guess. And I wanted to maybe do something like that. It says like rose. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. How would I do this? I think that's gonna be maybe too hard for me, but maybe I'll try later. Snipe frame or Zen NYX frame. I often struggle with adding texture to my art, and I was wondering if you have any tips for that. I don't mind the smooth look, but I like visual interest. You know what? I totally feel you for this, and I've been doing the same kind of texture for the few illustrations. So if you stick around, I'll try to render this and show you how I do mine. Essentially, what I do is I bridge the gap between my my final illustration with kind of lines. Essentially, I'm playing with the edges of my illustrations. It's harder to explain than show, so if you stick around, I'll be able to show it to you later. Obviously, texture brush is like the easiest way for you to do it, but what I found is if you're not doing it in a very intentional way, texture brush alone just doesn't do the trick. How am I going to do this now? Something like that. Let's see if that's working. I'm gonna put all of these together. I might erase the smoke here. I don't like the shape of it all. That's better, I think. Probably going to put a bird on that thing at some point. Could be interesting. Might raise all of that. It's really just sketch face. You have to think about the composition, because after that it's going to be hard to modify things. That's good enough for starter. I'll add some cool stuff here and there after that. Alright, let's try to render this. How are you planning how are you playing cards design going? Can't wait to see the art. You know what? I've been working on it all week long. Well, not all week long. I've been working on it at least a couple of days, and it's going well. I'll be able to finish the clubs probably this week, and I'm hoping to be able to make a video about it within the next couple of weeks or so, I guess. But yeah, I'm excited about it. I love the designs. Thank you for the feedback, by the way. I read it on YouTube, Rebecca. I need to work more on that back card kind of thing, but I really like the direction of it all. I'm pretty happy with it. All right, let's jump right in on this. So color-wise, we need to have some pinks because it's a rosé, and this month we are doing monochromatic sort of paintings. So this should all have like rose tones or pink tones, pinkish tones. Thinking, should I do it? Whoops. Wrong layer. Okay. Let's do that again. I think that's a better format. All right. Again, if you are passing by on Instagram, you can say hi, don't be shy. And if you have any questions, let me know. I tend to forget that I'm live when I start rendering. So please get me out of my head and make me talk. Doing paintings and doing lives and painting at the same time, it's always a challenge. But it's easier when I have questions to answers, because otherwise my brain starts wondering, what should I say? I don't always know. Alright, let's paint a few different things. Gonna put the bird and the house with the same colors as a base. This is going to help, I think. Huh. Oh, that's why. This should be maybe a little bit more white. Yeah. This weekend, I'm supposed to go to a sports event, literally designed into a special gift that my friends are doing. It was my birthday last year, but one of them came up with the idea of offering me a full day of doing sports. Now, if you don't know me personally, I love doing sports. I'm extremely competitive. I think I'm a good loser though. Like I don't get sore loser. But I love competing to everything that I do really. And so this weekend we're organizing a sports event. What is this? I guess that's the rose. Yeah. A sports event where we're going to do spike ball. Spike ball is sports that have been invented in the last couple of years, I think. No, more than that. Maybe 10 years? Maybe less than that. I don't know. Where you basically throw a ball on a trampoline, and it's a ton of fun. I did it a couple of years ago, a couple of years ago, at a wedding down south here, and it was on the beach, and it was amazing. I had so much fun. And my friend just came up with the idea to just kind of have like a weekend where we would do this over the weekend, and I'm super excited about it. I think it's gonna be great. Hi Clay, how you doing? Welcome to the live. So yeah, if you're wondering what I'm doing right now is just kind of putting all the flat colors to see what can be done, and then I will start rendering, starting with the portrait. Let's see how far we can push this. I'm great, Clay. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you for asking. I'm great. All right, let's put some blush. I will try to put like goo on her face afterwards. Like if it's like the dew of the rose maybe that goes on top of her face. I have no idea. I'll try something when I get there. But for now this is gonna be an experiment, I think. ZNYX Frame. I'm just gonna call you Frame from now on. Frame, do you ever struggle with procrastination? If you do, how do you find your motivation, inspiration to finally sit down and draw? Yeah, I do. I absolutely do. And if I didn't have plans to help me with this, I'd be stuck as well. The way I get out of my rut is by participating into the Daily 5 challenge. This is the challenge I'm doing right now, if you didn't know. The Daily 5 challenge rule is to sit down in front of a computer and paint for a minimum of 5 minutes, but for basically as much as you want. And I started this challenge, I want to see, a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago, maybe, well, I don't remember exactly, and offered it to the entire community. Whoopsie. What? Why can I not pick this? What the hell? Okay. As a way to just get out of the rut, get out of the procrastination mode. Because sometimes all you need is just 5 minutes, really. And if you stack the 5 minutes day after day, what you'll realize is that, first of all, you can definitely learn a bunch of stuff if you just keep on painting. It doesn't have to be like giant sessions. If you just paint a little bit every day, you will get better day by day. So you start seeing improvements, and you're starting to just feel that rhythm that all of us much need, especially after breaks like the holiday break. So you can do that if you want to. The list is on my Instagram account. All you have to do is to pick up the prompt of the day and draw it. Today I'm painting Rosy Dew, and it doesn't have to be like that complicated. Like this one is pretty complicated. It could be like just to go pick up a rose picture with some dew on it, and then paint that for 5, 10, 15 minutes, no matter what it is. Just find that time zone, that time slot that kind of works for you in the day. Put a little bit of work. And that's the best way, because it's really just, well, it's doing will get you out of the not doing. So it's by putting the bar lower with a 5 minutes drawing, and do that regularly until you pick up the beat. That's the best way to get out of it. Buenas noches to Alfredo. Gusta mucho. I'm not sure I understood everything that was there, Alfredo. If you can give me a translation in there, I'll try to answer the question. If there was a question. I don't think that was a question. Epic Arts from Nigeria. How you doing? Thanks for coming. And Ryan, do you have any tips to avoid burnout? Wow. Yes. Yes. I think, you know, not enough. It's not enough said. Hi, Lana Fox on Instagram. People and artists don't talk enough about mental health. It's a huge thing. It's a kind of that taboo that people like pretend to be stronger than they are. We're all subject of having breakdowns and kind of like wait, what is this? Kind of have ups and downs in life, and burnout is definitely a real thing. And the best way to do it, I think, is to kind of like just being kind to yourself, especially when it comes to art. Everybody wants to be better than they are. Everybody wants to grow. Everybody wants to learn. Everybody wants to have millions of fans and dollars in the bank account doing what they love. But if that's your only thing and every day you beat yourself up with it, it's not going to make things better. It's going to make things worse. You have to be kind to yourself. You have to appreciate the journey. You have to learn to let go of the expectation. I guess what I'm telling you is not really like a tip that you can apply and boom, it's done, because I don't think there is. I think it's to learn to appreciate more. I'm working on that, by the way, all the time. It's something that I have a hard time with. It's not easy, you know, depending on how your brain has been wired. We have negative thoughts. We have all these predefined concepts in our head. Like I don't think I'm very much like patient with myself or anyone. Actually, it's something I'm working on. I want to be better. Like the efforts that I do is never enough. I always want to learn faster, better. I always compare myself, and all of these become like a strain on your mental health, you know. And I think that's where the burnout starts to take place. And you have to be conscious of it all. You have to be okay that it's happening and be proactive to do something about it, really. I'm not a specialist in mental health at any point, but this is what I'm working on. This is how I approach it. So hopefully this is helping you. All right. Sorry, Instagram. Sometimes I forget that you don't see everything if I move the stuff. I'm going to try to finish the portrait roughly and then add more stuff. So let's put some shadows. Kind of have like your eye in the shadow here. Definitely there. All there. There. Doing the shadow with a hard edge like this will really help you, because if it works with a hard edge, then you can be sure that you'll be able to like softening up with smudge tool, brushes, mixer brush tool, and it would still hold the portrait. And that's what's important. So keeping things loose-ish for now, but with a hard edge. And then a pass at the highlights. I don't know if I'm going to use this or yellow. just gray, maybe. Give me a second here. Wait, what is this? All right. I think gray is going to be the right color for the highlights. It's also here you want to think about like adding all sorts of like little change of colors. I might add some yellows at a few places, but try to stay like within the constraint of like that pink. I want things to look pinkish, so I don't want to add too much, but just a little bit. And a fox, good to know that's not only me, the owl, I mean night inspiration. I guess not. Furuki, hi, I'm new in illustration. I want to apply as line art, as artist and colorist. Which one better for a newbie like me? Thank you. I want to apply as line art. I'm not sure of your question, Furuki. Can you rephrase it, please? Sorry. Rebecca, you say before I started this live, you were warming up. What do you do to warm up before doing a D5? I can show it to you. I think I got it right here. Do I? Oh, maybe I don't. Wait, did I delete it? It looks like I deleted it. That's odd. I usually don't do that. I just did a sketch. It was a sketch of a few of the references that were already there. I want to say hi, bro, to Andres on Instagram. How you doing? Camila, you say, no, sorry, Cat. I find it useful for stress to go for a walk outside for a while. Yeah, most definitely. Usually I do sports too. I actually made a video about it. It's on YouTube, where I show my routine. I do meditation, I do sports, just anything that can just calm me, depending on what's the level of stress there is. Sports usually is the one that does the trick. And Camila, you say, hi, great job. Thank you for sharing. Is there any specific order you follow to add volume to an illustration? So far, I've seen sketching and basic colors. What do you do next? If you stick around, you'll see that. I'll be rendering this one to form today. Any tips for drawing roses? Yeah, just do a lot because it's complicated, even for me. I think I would try, if I were you, to do like paint them with, trace them, see how lines works, because roses looks messy. Trace them to see how the line work, because from a picture to a line work for roses is kind of complicated. And then try to do them with like grids. This will help you as well. Let's keep on pushing this, shall we? I'm trying to whoopsie, to just give me like the base needed to get myself started here. Gotta transform my line work to something that fits the illustration a little bit better. And then I'm gonna start rendering on top of it. I think right now. You know what? No, I'm gonna add a few more things. I'm gonna add just the base color for the rest. This way I'll be able to just flat everything. The way I work is close to traditional medium. Like I like to work on one layer. So usually I do all the flat colors, and then once I'm ready, I render everything all at the same time. Let's push that a little. You know, I think I'm gonna do this instead. Might just do that actually. For this is going to be kind of like a picture, maybe some blue and yellow. Something like that. Frickery, you say, there is a job in my place that they need line art artist and colorist. I want to apply my portfolio, but I'm new in illustration. Which do you think is best for newbie like me? I'm struggling with lighting. I mean, there's really no easy solution. Line art is difficult. It's difficult, it requires a lot of skills, and these skills are very hard to gain. Something that you can learn over time, but things like perspective and composition require quite a bit of knowledge. When it comes to colors also are complicated. I think if you wanted to apply to this, I would work on both as much as possible until you feel confident that you can apply to the job you want to apply to. There's no, there's no quick fix to knowledge that is not known. There's ways to get faster there, but you would still need to feel confident on your skill to apply to any job. Unfortunately, I haven't seen your portfolio. But just as a general rule, people will judge you on your worst pieces, not your best. So if you're looking at your portfolio and there's a few pieces that you like and you're like, okay, these pieces are great, maybe these pieces will help me to get the job, you're looking at it the wrong way. Look at your portfolio and look at your worst piece. The one you don't like, the one people don't like, the one people, they're just like, they're not even looking at it. Take it out. Take it out of there. The way it works is really just people will judge you on the worst one. That's what they do. Yeah, they'll see like the good ones. He likes the good, but they'll see the bad one and they'll be like, all right, so that's what I can expect on a bad day. So you want to reduce the volume between your best one and your worst one to a minimum, basically. This is one of the reasons why most people say like have less pieces on your portfolio. 5 to 10 is enough to get a job if it's specific to the niche you're applying to. Like in your case, line art and coloring. Have only line art and coloring in your portfolio, nothing else. That's you want to present, and your best of the best kind of thing. If you have experience in the domain, even better. Try to show that through your portfolio as well. Your understanding on how to deal with the issues and problems that your client will have will get you a foot in the door. Yeah, those are the advice that I could give you on this. Hopefully this is helpful. Where's my birdie? Birdie is here. I might change that to something a little bit lighter. Maybe more saturated. No. Blue. A mix of the two. No. I don't know. I might leave it like this for now. I want it to pop, but not too much. That makes sense. Maybe that. Cat, you say looking for a real roses photo for the basic shape of the rose are C round. Yeah, I mean it depends on the rose really. There's open, there's closed, all of this. And Faruki, you're absolutely welcome. The reality is like what you need is just when you paint anything is to add to your library of like experiences. So if you're painting roses for the first time, don't expect yourself to paint a beautiful rose on the first time, right? You need to have a lot of experience, a few failure to get there. And usually, like, even me, like, I'll be the first one to admit, I didn't spend enough time on roses for the amount of roses I've been painting in a few weeks. I kind of place them almost as textures. Where's my rose? There it is. I kind of place them almost as textures. That's okay, because I'm not planning to paint roses on my final pieces anytime soon. But if I were to, like, for example, if I wanted to place a rose on my cards that I'm designing right now, I'm doing a playing card deck. If you haven't seen the first one, please go check my video. I spent a lot of time on it. I'm very proud of it. Then I would definitely, add roses. Matter of fact, do I have a rose there? Maybe that. No, I have like rose patterns, but I don't think I've painted rose. But yeah, like it's a complex subject, really. You know, one person that really does it well, that I absolutely love getting inspired from, is Loish. If you guys don't know Loish, she is from Netherlands. Amazing artist. And the way she approached her roses is just always mesmerizing. Just super well done. But yeah, usually I do like what I'm doing right now. It's just kind of like almost like just like kind of adding, stacking textures. I'm gonna add like a few highlights on that later, and that would be it. All right, I'm gonna start painting on top of my line work and try to render that. Loish, it's Loish. Loish. If you do Loish Instagram, you will definitely find her. She is quite unique. And she has like a giant following of like 2 million plus people. Well, 2 million and one with you now. And yeah, she's just a great part of the art community online. Super inspiring. I've been following her for years. She was one of the first artists that I fell in love with. Just the way she designs shapes and characters is just amazing. You're welcome, TK. All right, time to get close and personal with these eyes. This is the place where I start using the mixer brush tool a little bit to blend certain things. And it's also the place where I'm having a harder time talking at the same time. So again, if you guys have questions, this is the perfect time. It's gonna get me out of my head. Yeah, and thanks in advance. Helps a lot. You know, I'm following a few people that do those kind of like live versions shows. I'm always impressed. Some people are like really good at talking and painting at the same time. It's still a skill that I'm trying to acquire. Let's move that lower. But yeah. Also, for all of you guys on Instagram, it's been a few weeks that it's there. And thank you, King, for letting me know that you like my work. I appreciate that. Thanks. And I was about to say that everyone on Instagram, if you want to have a little quick tutorial, I created a small free tutorial that you can get on Instagram for skin tone. It's a question that I receive a lot, so I decided to do something about it. And I know a few of you guys already took it, but I know also that a lot of you guys didn't. And if you do on Instagram, Skin Secret in the chat right now, Skin Secrets with an S, 2 words, you will get a DM from me, a set an automation that will shoot you a link for video series that I created on how to paint skin tones. So if you're interested in that, you can go check it out. Rebecca, I said here, have to head to bed. Happy painting. Thank you for coming, Rebecca. See you next time. Have a good night. Let's kind of push this a little bit. I usually like to use more reds for these folds and eyelids and stuff here. Add some warmness to the eye. Yeah. Let's try to push these. I'm having a lot of fun, like, kind of like doing like a more textury way of rendering these days. Like I do things rougher than I ever did before. And I'm kind of learning the pros and cons of it. Con is I feel like I haven't found the perfect like flow. I feel like I'm losing time, having to correct a few things as I'm going just too fast. into certain textures, if that makes sense. But it gives like this very cool textury image at the end that I absolutely love. It's the way I'm approaching also my cards, my playing cards. I actually started with this. I was participating into the Daily 5 challenge with the community, and I just kind of like let go of my expectation and did a bunch of stuff, and it started to like just look into something that was super cool to my eyes at the very least. These kind of like collages of pictures, and I did the King of Club card, and I really liked the way it went out, and that's what started the idea. Well, that and Ted 100. Ted 100's video on making his own set of cards was super inspiring, and I was like, you know what, I want to do this. I want to do this. Also like to play poker with my friends, and I thought, how cool would it be to play with my own deck? How cool would that be? Yeah, and if you want to follow the journey, I posted, like I was saying earlier, a video on how I did the first suit of hearts. I started with a suit of heart, and we'll continue to do the other suit within the next weeks and months. I'll be posting the results on YouTube, so if you want to follow there, that'd be my pleasure. Okay. I'm having a little bit of a hard time here. You know, it still does that to me on a lot of paintings that I do. When you reach a point where it's like, it's almost like doing bungee. I never did bungee, but yet I think the analogy is going to work. It's like you have to let yourself go. You know, you jump out of the bridge and you have to trust that that elastic is going to save your life. And I feel like I do that with my painting a lot of times. I'm just like, all right, this is not looking like something, this is not looking like what I'm trying to do. And yet I know that by the end, it will look like something that I like. If that makes sense. Do you guys feel the same times? Like you just get in a place where you're like, ugh, should I continue? Should I not continue? You're in that free fall. And until you reach that moment where you're like, okay, no, I know what I'm doing. Like, it's going where I want it to be. You kind of doubt every brush strokes. I'm assuming I'm not alone with this. Trusting the process works until you realize you really aren't enjoying it anymore. I usually abandon the piece and start anew. You know what? I did that for years, so I totally understand. But I think sometimes that's what's needed to abandon a piece. Now, hear me out. there is always a way to correct an illustration. Always. But sometimes we don't know how. And there's two ways. We can either like find a solution through taking classes or doing some research, or we can start anew. I did both, and I say that without any judgment, but finding classes works a lot better. Because most of the time you start a new painting and then you reach the same point and the cycle continue. So yeah, this is why I started the illustration for imagination program. I wanted to help people to get out of that cycle. Having just enough about lighting, perspective, coloring is all you need to being able to really paint whatever's on your mind. Once you understand how to play with those things, you'll be able to paint an illustration and just know exactly what needs to be fixed. Now, it doesn't mean that you'll have an easiness to fix it, but knowing what to fix is already a victory by itself. It might take you a little bit more time to acquire exactly the skills needed completely. A little bit more practice, but knowing what to practice is absolutely essential. If that makes sense. Sorry, Instagram. Sometimes I totally I'm like in my illustration, I'm zooming way too much, and then I realize you guys are not seeing. Which is never good. Each time that I zoom in into my illustration too much, I end up making mistakes as well. It's never a good thing. Like, it's better to see the entire image to help you. I'm a little slow today, I gotta say. But that's okay. Just push in. Let's push the lips. ZNY, should call you Frain, I just said that. How did you first find the courage to share your art? I'm 15 and started drawing around 1 to 2 years ago and thought I wanted to share what I make. I never feel like it's good enough. Well, first of all, congratulations. You know what? When you're 15 and you want to accomplish something, just by itself, taking that decision is an accomplishment by itself. The pupil in the left. I'll do that for you in a second, Velveteen. I'll put the pupil. You can just call me Zed. Or I'll call you Zed. That's even better. Oh, those is your, I don't know. All right, cool. Well, listen to that, Zed. At 15 years old, when you know what you want to do, that's a victory by itself. Certainly don't judge yourself too much. And when it comes to finding the courage, it's like anything in life. It's a skill to be learned. Everything is a skill to be learned. It's not just about the art of painting. It's about the art of presentation, the art to talk to people, the art of selling your art, the art of all of these things are quote unquote art. They're skills to be learned, skills to be applied. The easiest way to get better at it is to try it. And then try it again, and then try it again, and then try it again. The better way is to find classes about it, how to share your stuff online. And I'm assuming at 15 you don't have a job yet. You maybe not make your own income. That's okay. There's plenty of free material to be learned online to help you unblock these skills. And here's for Velveteen, a little a little iris pupil. Thanks for letting me know. It looks great. Appreciate it. Thanks. D. Arshini, I want to get a job for Disney. Can you give me some suggestion, please? I mean, I never worked for a studio like this, nor is it my intention. I don't think that's where I'd be happy. But the best advice I can give you is to have a portfolio that reflects the kind of work you want to do. And then no matter if you want to work for Disney or some other studio, you'll have the kind of work that makes you happy. I think a lot of people start their career without thinking what will make them happy. They think something is going to make them happy, and then they end up to that job and end up hating what they're doing. A lot of students do that as well, you know. We're starting our life, we have to make huge decisions about what we're going to do with the rest of our life when we're like in our teen years. And that's just unfair. You start life like, I think there's a study that says that most people in the US that go to school and university, they don't end up doing what they've been studying for. Because theory and practice are two things. So all that to refer to what you want to do. Have a portfolio of things that you really do like. So this way, it doesn't matter if you get to Disney or not. Whatever job is going to hire you for that portfolio is going to make you happy. And that's way better than forcing yourself into a job that you think you'll like and realizing later on that you don't like it. Bit of advice there. I was a graphic designer for 10 years and I didn't really like it. It was just not for me. But it took me 10 years to realize it. And it's not because it's not a great job or whatever. It's just I wanted to do more creative work, and ultimately graphic design can be extremely creative, but I just didn't like the client relationship. They come at you with ideas and most of the time don't trust you to do the execution. Where illustration, I feel like people come for your portfolio particularly. They're not going to ask you to diverge from a different style that you already establish. And that suits me better as a creative. So yeah, great questions, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm extremely slow today. Jesus, it's already 10:30. I have almost nothing done. You know what? It happens. Let's not judge the situation. I guess I got the perfect opportunity to think, how do I push this so that I can do as much as possible within the next 30 minutes or so. Let's see. Zed, you say, I have to go now, but thank you for answering your question. You're absolutely welcome. Have a good day, good night. Velveteen, loved looking her eyes and her imperfect nose. Yeah, me too. In her eyes, yes. Yeah, you know, I've been having a lot more fun doing portraits from references of people that don't look the perfect modelly looking. Not that she's not modelly looking. I think she's totally modelly looking. But like I did a few other illustration of people that really had like, I don't know, like big nose or skin that had a lot of colors. And when I mean colors, I mean like redness and patches and stuff like that. Just imperfection, basically. And I just find a lot of beauty in it as an artist. It also makes it for like a more interesting, easier painting to do, because you can play with all these things. So yeah, it's been a fun journey. Let me try to push that just a little bit more. I think I have a reference for this somewhere. There we go. Wish he had more wavy hair. Yeah, no, I think the hair would be just too much for this one, especially with the time frame that I have. I'm always trying to do my DD5 live and finish the illustrations that I do within the live. I usually come real close, but with this one, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it today. I might have to keep it real rough, which is absolutely fine. Ryan. I'm taking my first college drawing class at university. Do you have any tip on how to get the most out of the class? The class is below my skill level, but it's fulfilling my art minor. If it's below your art skill level, that's fine. I mean, just try to push the boundaries of the assignments that will be given. That's how I would approach it. Apply the foundation skills that most artists don't have when they start. Literally try to impress yourself, impress your teachers, impress people in the class. Just try to excel into whatever is going to bring. That's how I would approach it personally. Like there was a bunch of class that I regret in my head when I was in college that I took in graphic design, right? So the illustration classes that I had, because I had a few, I didn't take them seriously, and one in particular that stuck in my brain as being like a missed opportunity was the perspective class. They were like kind of giving us like the basic like cube exercises and whatnot, and I just really didn't took the time to learn more. You know what? I don't remember how the class was, if it was a good class, if the teacher was good. I just remembered thinking, I'll never use this. This is for architect stuff. I don't care. And I found myself years later relearning it, realizing that no, perspective is everywhere, and I need it almost for anything that I do in portraits and characters and everything. Perspective is on everything, literally. So just try to not fall into the trap of like, oh, this is like below my skill level. Like I don't have to apply my best self. Also, funny enough, I was looking at a reel before coming on this call of Terry Crews. Terry Crews is an actor, used to be also a NFL player, I think. He's a big, muscly black guy. I love his acting. I think he's funny as hell. All that to say that one of his first jobs was to sweeping floor, he says. And he was kind of like depressed about it. And then he started to, on his first day job, to imagine like, okay, what if I were to do this job, but they were to pay me $1 million for it? And all of a sudden he sees himself, all right, so if they pay me $1 million to do that job, I better do it like in a way that shows that they're paying me $1 million for doing that job, right? So he starts sweeping in a way that, he's very attentive, and he sweeps and he makes sure that everything is spotless, and like he puts the great attitude, because who wants to hire someone that doesn't have the great attitude for $1 million? He's just thinking like, all right, so how much value can I get to my employer for $1 million? And I think it's just a great philosophy, approaching everything that you do and give it your best, no matter how much they pay you, no matter if it's under your skill level, because ultimately what you're doing is you're building you with values, with skills, And I think it's an attitude to have towards life, to always give your best. Because if you do so, you might not see in the moment, like, it might not pay off in the moment right away, but over time, it's the kind of attitude that will make you a better employee, a better artist, a better human being. So hopefully this helps. That's how I would approach it personally. Just give it your best, no matter if it's under your skill level. Velveteen, you seem to agree. And you think that he's funny? Yes, I also think he's funny. He also like a rough upbringing. I think he had a rough life until he got to where he is today. And he's also a bit of an artist, you know. I think if you follow, guys, the show 99, which is funny because he's called Terry in the show, Brooklyn 99, and he's an artist in the show, but I think he's an artist also in real life. He actually does art. I think. Kind of have the memory of watching an interview of him where he was talking about this. And I swear to God, I've never been so slow on a painting in my entire life. It's always great when that happens, lives. How can I do this? 30 minutes left. Let's see. You know, but maybe I can use this to a lesson to everybody. You need to fail in life to learn from your mistakes and then get better. And if I'm learning something from today in terms of subject to paint when you're doing a live, is be more prepared. I don't think I had a clear idea when I started this live of what I would paint. And now I'm paying the price for it because I'm not too sure of the direction of this. Neither do I like it necessarily. But that's okay. You live and you learn. Oh, looks like the battery of my tool is bugging. Thank you, Velveteen. Tells me that I got this. I will certainly do my best to push it more. So yeah, Ryan, let me know if the monologue that I give was of any use to you, and if you have more questions. She has kind of a bandana here. I could kind of like add that. Things like kind of like a scarf slash tie. No. Let's add a multiply to this. You can't rush good art, you say, Ryan. Yeah, I guess you're right, you know, it takes the time that it takes. But I really want to like usually finish these within a certain time frame, just because I got other tasks during the rest of the day, and then next day I got other tasks, and I really need this task to be done today. That's just my reality, which is not too bad. I think it will be still good looking. Maybe just a little bit more rough than I actually wanted it to be. I think if I just concentrate on adding a little bit more of the rendering at the right places, I'll manage to bring this to a place where I'm happy with it. Something like that. This birdie, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to keep it real simple. Do I have a reference for this? Yeah, I do. If you guys have any questions, please shoot them up. It was very helpful. I'll be sure to perform my best for this class. Thank you. You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. You know what? If you join us later during the year or next week or whenever you start that class, please let me know how it went. What did you learn? What are you guys working on? It's been a while I haven't went to an actual physical class, which I'm assuming that is for you. And that's something that I romanticize a little bit about. It was something cool to go to college and be on site, having everybody there. Even though I was never the kind of person to really hang out at school, that's just not my kind of party. There was just something fun. It was a nice period of my life, which again, I think I went through it without appreciating it fully. And then you just kind of think about it later on with a little regret. Not a big regret, just a little regret of not taking in the full experience. I don't know why. I was always the kind of person to go to school and then get out as fast as possible. I was doing that in high school. I would go every lunch to my home to watch cartoon. I didn't stay home. I stayed in school to, I don't know, chit chat with people. And now I'm spending most of my days in my studio. This is why these lives are super important to me, and I love to do them. Being able to interact with you guys. Do you do 3D stuff as well, or sculpting? No, I do not, Velvet. I do not, and I don't think I will. You know what? I know for certain industry, I don't know, concept art, having a base understanding of 3D modeling is important. But I really like to just kind of paint in a more traditional kind of way. So even if I do a landscape and play with perspective and whatnot, I try to do it manually. also, I have the luxury of like having built a business around teaching for the past few years that really give me the freedom to say no to most of the clients that knock on my door, which is again something that I'm trying to refrain from doing now, because now nobody's knocking on my door no more to ask me for work. I have to find my own work. But that's okay. It was a personal choice. Sorry, I feel like I'm blabbering. You guys have any question, please, so I can give some constructive feedback or constructive advices. Dari Naru, sir, do you have any tips to drawing a real man? Can draw a real man. I don't know if that's a translation, but I'd be curious to know what's a real man. When it comes to characters and portraiture, obviously, I think just learning enough anatomy to help you get started is a good thing. But I'm also a big believer in just like start with understanding the principle of perspective, coloring, these kind of things. They're always very, very important, no matter what you're doing. Let's put back the music. I think we went through the entire playlist. Damn, let's start out again. Yeah. All right. It's not totally going where I want to, but it's kind of cool. Let's put a highlight in her eye right there. She sort of kind of doesn't have a highlight there. I'm gonna add a highlight anyway. Maybe not. Maybe more there. Who's your favorite artist? That's a great question. I got many artists that I follow that I really like. Right now, the artists that I have are still the same for a while now. That influenced me the most, that's a different question. So there was a guy, talked to him in the past, but he's still very much alive and doing great as an artist, named Sam Spratt. He was an artist that I reached out when I was doing my illustrations. At the time, he was doing some contest with his art. And I just find his style very inspiring. Sam Spratt. And recently, he did something even more amazing. He, I haven't been a huge fan of NFTs. When they got out for art, I thought it was kind of a dump of just bad art done by not so good people. And I didn't see artists because they're not artists. They were just like copying stuff online and then put it as an NFT and try to make a buck. Or there was these big project created by like big companies. But Sam recently created his own NFT project, and he did it in a way that's just brilliant. He created his own world and made a little fortune out of it. So I'm still very inspired by his journey, what he does with his art. On top of his style, he used to be very much like a commercial artist, I guess you could say that, where he would do book covers and posters and all sorts of other things. But now he's fully independent, doing his own thing, and I'm really just in awe of what he created with that, which is also a little bit of an inspiration for my deck of cards. Just creating new projects, with the AI world taking like a lot of jobs for artists. I don't know if I can say a lot, but definitely some. I think it's a lot more rewarding, fun, and brings you a chance to make a buck, to create your own projects. Of course, it comes with the need to create yourself an audience, know how to sell yourself, how to sell, period. But I think it gives you the freedom to really create whatever you want, which ultimately suits me best, I think, for now. It's something that I'm more than happy to experiment with for the next few years. I'm starting with a deck of cards, but who knows where it's going to be. So anyhow, Sam Spratt is one of the artists that I'm following these days that I really like. And yeah, like it touched me so much a few years ago when I reached out to him. And it was just like an answer, I think, on social media, Facebook at the time, I think. But yeah, it was just like, oh, like, you know, real person. It was nice. But that's just be. Is there something about your style you are actively working on developing? Yes, shape design and simplification. I'm seeing a lot of successful artists having gone through that simplification kind of like journey where they started to do realism and then it was just not fitting who they were, and started to simplify things and create like stylistic choices and ultimately just created something that now is unique to them. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'm very inspired by artists like Max Greca. He's a Swedish artist, I believe. And he has just amazing style of like shape design. Ben Elben is another one. And boy did he grew within the last few years. And I absolutely love what he does. Very stylistic. I'm a little bit more like, I want to be closer to like artists like Charlie Bowater. She's an amazing artist and she does stylized illustrations, but in a very closer to like realistic style. And I think that suits me better. It's what I prefer. But yeah, I'm still in the making. I'm still learning. How do you spell his last name, may I ask? Greca, it's G, or is it J? G-R-E-C-K-E, I think. Max Greca. Even if you misspell it, I think on Google, I think it will go to him. Because I don't think there's a lot of them. Especially if you do like art and portfolio or something like that. Hi, Geeky Corn. How you doing? So yeah, I'm working on stylization and shape design and how to maximize the time that I'm spending on every painting, which is my frustration of today, because I spent quite a bit of time on this one, and I feel like I should have been more efficient with my line art, with my shape design on this one. I feel like it's taking just too much time, but it's a great reminder, and I'm actually glad that it happens live because it can show to everybody that everybody has a bad day, bad session, bad art, bad whatever, you know. It's not that it's bad, is you got to learn from it. I think in this case I was not prepared enough ultimately, and I should have taken more time. I did my mood board late last night for today's morning, and I think ultimately that's what didn't work. I should have been more careful into selecting the images that would have inspired me faster. But also I've been losing a bunch of times rendering, so it's not just that. But yeah, it's still kind of a fun little composition. It's just not it's not moving me much. Moving in the sense of inspiration. I'm not very inspired by it. Max Grecker. Yes, Cat. Max Grecker. So is it G? G-R-E-C-K-E. I would love if she was made into a vampire with a fluffy black color. Maybe another time. Maybe another time. I think if I'm changing anything right now, I'll spend even more time on this. So what I'm trying to do is just kind of like add a few highlights where needed, and kind of round up You know, I just realized the dots are supposed to be white. Funny. And yeah, I'm probably gonna stay a little longer than I usually do today, just pushing this a little bit more. Thank you for everybody that's still with me. I truly appreciate the conversation that I have with you guys. It starts my day really, really well, which makes me loving the Thursdays. It's Thursday morning for me. I know for a lot of you guys, it's probably like Wednesday night or Wednesday morning, if you are closer to me, but it's Thursday morning, I mean. And if you're in Europe, it's probably like middle of the night right now. But all that to say, thanks for being there. And I really like Thursdays because I start with you guys with a nice live, and then I go play badminton. I play badminton once a week. It's the only sport I'm doing right now, as I don't have time for it, but I deeply appreciate it. Gigi Corn, it is. I keep forgetting you're on the other side of the world. Yes, very far. Getting closer this year, though. Like I was saying earlier, I'm moving to Spain. This is going to help with the lives, I believe. I'll be able to do these probably earlier, and probably have more people on the calls, which might make it harder for me to paint, realizing that just now, because it's difficult to hold a conversation while painting, but that's a challenge I'm ready to take. Velvet, you say, have you ever made a yin and yang of a character, like the same design in a sweet way and another way in a hard way? No, but that sounds like something fun. You know what? We're going to do the character design challenge this year again, right before I open the doors to the Illustration for Imagination program. Maybe I'll do that then. That sounds fun. Have you Have you done that already? I see also like sometimes it's just people like doing like different lighting for the same kind of scene. It's kind of like the same kind of skill. I think that's always super cool to watch. Really helps also with painting from imagination, to be able to transform a scene or a character into multiple scenes or characters or light direction or whatnot. This pomegranate still life is really challenging for me, but it's such a gorgeous fruit. It is a gorgeous fruit. There's just a bunch of highlights on it, I bet. All the little like beads red of that fruit are like having like a very glossy like skin. And we'll let you say no, but I would love to see that. Yeah, I might do that. I might do that later this year. That'd be nice. Just like the Haunted Mansion has those changing portrait. You made me thought about something. You know what? A couple of years ago, I think I did a 1 week portrait. That was the first challenge that I was doing. Now it's since then transformed into a course that I sell called the 1 week portrait masterclass. But 2 years ago, I think it was one of the last, I need to put new batteries in that thing. I transformed into my old characters into vampires and monster, and that was kind of super fun to do. So yeah, do I have other batteries? Maybe. I don't know if these are new or not. Maybe I'll try that. But yeah, I think it's a great exercise to do, no matter what. I don't know how to put that highlight. I feel like if I put it at the same place, it's going to look weird, but maybe not. Maybe not. I think it's actually better this way. If you want to see Velvet, how I transformed these portraits, I believe the illustrations are still, the videos showing the transformation are still on YouTube. They were done a couple years ago, so you might have to like scroll down to go check them out. But I believe they're still there. There's a lot of like illustration like this from challenges of the past that I kept on YouTube for people to see. Another artist that I talk about every week that inspires me is Leyendecker, GC Leyendecker. And I love to call this kind of like technique that I'm doing right now, where like I create like textures with line work. It's inspired from what he was doing. He had a very nice way to approach textures. His character were like still looking realistic, but with a very texturized way to approach it. I don't know if I want to put this there. Maybe. I think I prefer where it's going right now. It's getting there a little bit more, I think. A little bit of texture. Let me see if I can change the batteries, because if it starts bugging like this every time I make a stroke, it's gonna be hard to finish on time. I have this what's it called, the tour box. It's like kind of a shortcut kind of tool that really helps with painting with a big tablet like this. And it's funny because when I received it, my initial thoughts was, is that working? Maybe it's working. Let's see. My initial thoughts was, I'm not gonna use it, because they sent it to me to make like a review of it. And my initial thoughts was, I'm gonna make a review of it. I'm gonna learn how to paint with it, but I'm probably going to like stick to my keyboard. And funny enough, I started to use it more and more. And now I absolutely love using it. I'm using it each time I'm using my tablet. It's also like, there's like shortcuts with that big Huion tablet that are not working as well. So there's that. But yeah. So I just remember I was supposed to do something gooey with this one, but I added no goo. I'm gonna try to add some goo. Like a rosé goo do. Something with like a multiply. Wishing you a great night. Thanks for answering my question. So happy to cut up the live. What time do you go lives? Sorry if you already started. I usually go live every week at 5:30 PT. That's Pacific time. 5:30 PT, which is my 9 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I'll be there next week. Next week we are doing another prompt. The last prompt for this month, which I don't remember what it is, but I'll be there. So have a good night. Thank you so much for being there and asking all these questions. Super interesting. Clay, you say it's looking nice. Thank you so much. I'm thinking of trying that way of shading myself. You know what? It's been a game changer for me. It gives me that freedom of being able to add texture and create something stylistic at the same time. And I don't know, it's been liberating. Also, I don't have the most like steady hand, and I feel like this kind of texture thing also play within my strength. So that works well. Let's see how I can transform this into, you know what, I might do this. Whoopsie. Essentially, I'm going to treat that like it's almost like water. A little good there, and then what's going to be important, I guess, it's to add the right reflections at the right places. Which I'll put in another layer. And now it's to match where are going to be the reflections based on the light source that I have on my reference and not the light source of this reference, which can be difficult sometimes to imagine. I don't want to add too much, because if you add too much, it just doesn't look real. That's kind of okay. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Did I deleted my white dots? I have to redo it. Zooming in, zooming out, super important to kind of see where you're going with all of this. I also have my art on a smaller window on the other side, which also helps. Sorry, Instagram. Huh. That kind of okay. I haven't flipped it yet, but yeah, I think the flip works too. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to call it a day. But I'm pretty happy with what I was able to do within the last half an hour or so. I mean, it's interesting. Maybe not the best piece that I did, but there's a lot going on, which is interesting. Again, if you're participating into the DD5, you don't have to do these complicated composition. I wanted to add do to that thing. You don't have to do like these complicated composition. You can just go ahead and like try to try to paint only one thing. Such as it could have been the rose or something rosé with some dew on it. And you can treat these as kind of being like studies, really. Even though this looks like a pushed illustration, I like to think of it as a study, where it's like, oh, I learned something. It gives me the chance to get into the zone and practice rendering and composition and render a few things and see what needs to be worked on. So yeah. A few more textures in there. Something like that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a day for this one. Thank you so much for everybody that was live with me, guys. I know I repeat myself, but it's always super fun to have you guys. I'll be back next week. We are doing... What are we doing next week? Next week, we are doing the Silver Tongue. Silver Tongue. I might stick to the one reference for this one and try to push the rendering instead of doing a composition like this one. I kind of did the same thing last week and it went okay. But I think it's easier for me to hold conversation and render one thing than doing a whole composition. So I might do that next week. So thank you again. Have a good day, great night. Good day to you, Ryan. Same to you, Clay. Have a good one, guys. Talk to you soon. Happy painting until then. And yeah, thanks for joining. Ciao, ciao.